Hi everyone and welcome to Storytime with Kate. I'm Kate and I'm going to go live today with live stream that is related to our profession of early childhood education. So there are a few things that irritate or frustrate early childhood educators and teachers. I think it's very important to talk about it because it is something that people either suppress or they rant or bend on the forums that are closed groups and Facebook forums. I think it should become more public that our government and any people who are policymakers be aware of the challenges of the profession. I think also it is very useful for students who are thinking of doing this profession and studying towards certificate 3, that is initial qualification, and continuing with diploma of early childhood education and care, to be aware that it's not just playing with children, it is a profession that has its challenges. As you know, Storykate is all about positive interactions with children, and I do support circle times that are engaging, and I do love theories of learning, and I'm all for professional growth. But we also need to be realistic and talk about challenges. What I want you to do as well in the comments below under this video, can you please post if you agree with any of these irritations or frustrations? What other things irritate you as an early childhood educator? And maybe possible solutions, because let's not be just negative Nellies, let's just talk about it in a holistic way. So thank you for joining my stream, and I'm hoping that it will be beneficial for all. Number two is lack of recognition. It seems like the same one, isn't it? But recognition is all about feeling valued by other people, by your partner, by your community. And unfortunately, early childhood educators and carers and early childhood teachers or kinder teachers do not feel they are recognized for who they are and their role. So this is not a new topic, thanks to some media and coverage that was talking about shortages and some other activism that happened in the past few years. People are more aware of lack of recognition and lack of professional status that this profession deserves, but it's still a burning issue. So lack of recognition as early childhood professional, as an educator, is what frustrates people a lot. In one of my previous videos, I was talking about a few things that you should never say to early childhood educator or teacher, so you can find it in the description below. Next thing that frustrates people is unrealistic family or parental expectations. So we all look after children 0 to 5 and sometimes older children, and we do put a lot of effort into the care. This is a process that requires collaboration between family and educator and leadership team as well, and children, so it's a very complex question or problem. And sometimes in this process there are expectations from the family that might be a tad unrealistic, and some people might say a lot. Yes, so for example, if child needs to sleep during certain times, there are only few things we can accommodate. So we can be flexible in approaching this routine, but there also are limited resources in terms of how many educators we might have in the room at the current stage. So, and hence, this might be a little bit of a problem if you have too many children. The room is a little bit busy today, so not everyone's needs can be met at highest level, if it makes sense. So sometimes unrealistic expectations may be related to the way that routines are structured and it's not feasible for the center, or they might, let's say, have unrealistic expectations that are opposed to the developmental goals and our pedagogies. For example, and that would be a good example of unrealistic expectations. During the winter, some parents say that I don't want my child to go outside because it's cold. So unfortunately, even if the educator also feels cold. It is not what our regulator, SICWA, wants us to do. It's not in line with the current research that is related to the importance of outdoor physical play. It's also not really sustainable if you have one child who doesn't go outside and I don't know, 21 children who want to go outside. So having indoor-outdoor program is the best way to approach it, or otherwise you will have to take all children outside if you are working by yourself in the room as, let's say, kindergarten teacher. So this is an unrealistic expectation, also opposed to what children deserve and what's the regulations are telling us to do. Another thing that frustrates early childhood educators and teachers is lack of professional development. It's quite similar to the lack of support that I talked about. Yet, lack of professional development is an important topic to discuss. So we are expected to be very current in our profession. For example, we have to do first aid, CPR training once a year. We are also supposed to do it once in 3 years, the full day of first aid update, which is very important. But sometimes the centers organize this development, like the one that I am currently working as a casual teacher. So we do have this organized for all people who are working for this company. Or you will have to organize it yourself. If you have to organize it yourself, you have all the rights to get a RDO, or a new day when you will do your professional development. Otherwise, you only can do it during the weekend, which brings the next problem, or irritation, is lack of work-life balance. So if you are doing all these professional development hours that are required from you as an early childhood teacher or educator, you might spend your nights doing this professional development online, or you might spend your weekends or holidays doing professional development sessions. It's quite amazing if you want to do it like I am. I'm quite passionate. I do a lot of professional development anyway, but no one can expect educators to pay for their professional development without being reimbursed, and no one can expect educators to do it during their free time, family time, at night, and not pay for it. Let's move on to the next frustration. So I'm just warming up. And the next frustration is challenging behavior. So children come from all walks of life and might have challenging behavior for different reasons. But as I've been working in early childhood education and care, over the years, the ratio of children with behavior issues and children without any mental health issues or behavior issues changed a lot. So now we have more children who have additional needs. We have more children who require special attention. For example, pandemics changed the way children interact and changed their social cues and understanding of social behavior. And their mental health. So we have more children who require one-on-one attention. They might have challenging needs. They might need help from professionals, and they might need full-on inclusion. Quite often, parents are not supportive and do not want to accept the child may need support, which is also understandable, but you are working with this group of children. You need to look after all of them and supervise all of them, but if you don't have support from either management or family, it may be very, very challenging. So I'm not going to tell you stories about what kind of challenging behavior we face, but if you're an educator, you can post in the comments below if you find this one a difficult problem and an issue at the moment. Alright, next one is admin or paperwork. In all the forums and all the conversations that I am part of, paperwork or too much paperwork is a topic that educators discuss all the time. How much is too much? So we have regulations on national quality standard, policies that we need to follow, and we need to document a lot of things, including children's routines sometimes, the food intake, their behavior, and make observations for learning. So that's programming and planning. That is a part of our job. But sometimes we are burdened with extra paperwork that shouldn't be there, and if the leadership team would be more critical and understand how limited is the time educators have while they are supervising children directly, they will look for ways to optimize paperwork and ways to give people time to do planning off the floor. So this is absolutely unrealistic expectation, and I'll show you to complete something on iPad while you have to supervise even one child, because you are looking down the screen, and even if you are scanning the room, you're trying to hear everything, your attention immediately drawn to the working document you're working on. For example, to log in, I needed to type in the code. It took my attention for 2-3 seconds off the floor. So that is really frustrating for me. And I'm consider myself digital geek. I do like devices, but I don't want to spend any time away from being directly supervising children, being directly interacting with children. So that's a big problem that we all face. A lot of educators find this frustrating because they have to do it while they are working with children, and it's unrealistic expectation, of course. Next problem or issue is a lack of resources. So sometimes it's about not having enough interesting outdoor play spaces. Sometimes it's about limited indoor space. Sometimes it's about resources such as hats for children to go outside, sunscreen that runs out, nappies, etc. So we might talk about resources a lot, but the most important thing that educators should have enough resources when they are working. So just imagine someone who is, like, let's say, working in construction and is a bricklayer, to be expected to buy his own stuff, his own instruments. It's kind of okay because they are tradies and they get paid for the work they do, but we are employees, so we are not supposed to buy sunscreen, we are not supposed to buy glue. We have to come to work with children, and everything is sourced for us. We have ideas, creativity, imagination, our education, qualifications, professional development, and a lot of other wonderful qualities and things. But buying resources should not be our problem. Do you agree? And last but not least, low pay. Yes, I should have started with this one, but the salary of Certificate 3 educator is still very low compared to what people get for unqualified jobs in Australia. So we need to be clear about how low is this pay, and it should be transparent for any student who is about to start the Certificate 3. So I'm honest with my students. I tell them what are the expectations and what's expected pay rates, and I show them a word during our first week of studying. I think everyone deserves to know what is Children's Services Award, how low it is, and it needs to be different award. We need to have better conditions, and it's not just Australia. I'm quite aware that other countries struggle with attracting early childhood education workforce, and it's an ongoing issue. So if you believe that low rates are the most frustrating, and I imagine that it would be, post in the comments below what can be done to solve this issue, what kind of solution you see as an educator, as an experienced early childhood teacher or educator. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about what irritates us or frustrates us as early childhood education and care professional. And I hope you enjoyed this live stream and tune in for more.